Hi, welcome back to Movie Dudes. I am Alec.
And I'm Phil.
And today we will be discussing Paul Thomas Anderson's 2002 film, Punch Drunk Love.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Which was kind of interesting when it came out, because it came out after it came out during the time of what other Adam Sandler movies came out around that time? Like Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore.
Yeah, those kinds of films.
Basically the heyday of Sandler being like the typical kind of just comedian who's making movies.
Yeah.
So
he was right out of SNL.
Yeah. So when Anderson said that when Anderson said in an interview that he would like to work with Wes Anderson, everyone was kind of like, all right, what could you possibly do with, Adam Sandler? And then this happened.
Yep.
But I guess before we really, get into everything, I would like to. I'm trying to think of what the second thing was. All I know is that there's like a couple things I want to mention before we get going with everything.
Okay.
So earlier in the week, earlier in the week of us recording this, comedian Norm Macdonald passed away.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt that one very hard because Norm Macdonald was a pretty big influence on my sense of humor. So, pretty awful loss for the comedy community, and
absolutely,
it was just insane. Is all I really have to say, and I will remember just the insane comedy that he's done probably forever. So, yeah.
I actually pretty much only knew him by I didn't only just know him by name, but I wasn't really that familiar with his work, but I watched a couple of his stuff that he did. It was really fucking funny.
Oh, he's a funny dude. I think my favorite long con joke of his was he wrote a book and he called it it was basically a memoir, but half of the stuff in it just didn't happen. So it's just half of it's just not real at all, and I think that's the funniest thing ever.
Is it obviously fake?
Oh yeah, well he talks about the years he talks about years he spent in prison, which did not happen. And it's I remember so clearly there's one chapter where it's just ages 8 to 12. I don't remember. Chapter 5. He just immediately moves on. Oh, it's perfect.
Didn't he did it didn't you say at the beginning of the book this book is dedicated to Charles Manson? No, not that one.
Yeah, this book is dedicated to Charles Manson. Not that one. So dumb. I love it.
Out of all the clips I saw this week, I think the funniest one, at least the one that made me laugh the most, was when he was on Larry King's show and he said Larry King asked him, "Do you have any secrets you've never told anyone?" And he said, "I'm a deeply closeted gay man." And he just went into this weird thing of "No, I'm not gay. I'm deeply closeted." So
I'm not telling.
Yeah, and you could see on Larry King's face he was half he thought it was fucking funny, and half he did not understand a thing that was going on.
Oh, Norm, there will never be a comedian like Norm Macdonald ever again, and you can just feel that, and it's such a this is one of the bad ones. When it comes to celebrity deaths, it's just. Ugh. Yeah. So, rest in peace, Norm Macdonald.
Yep,
I just wanted to say that before, I guess, getting on the road with everything. But
Yeah.
in other recent events that are much more, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? Just kind of upbeat. I'm sure you've heard us talk. I'm sure we mentioned it in the Harold and Maude episode, but I'm sure we talked about it in the past that the Harold and Maude Criterion has been out of print ever since was it December of last year?
February.
February.
Was, yeah,
that's right.
which was actually the sale where I got my copy, so I was like one of the last people in the world to get it before it went out of print.
Which is incredible.
I'm so happy about that.
This past Tuesday, I decided to go record shopping with some friends, and at a random record store in like a town like maybe 10-15 minutes away from us, I remembered that this specific chain of stores always had like a Criterion section where like people who like just brought in Criterions like will just have them in that section. They can sell them off. So I went to that section and I was just looking around, and my friend Jake, he like pointed at a movie and he was like, "Hey, didn't you watch this one recently?" And I looked at it and it was Harold and Maude, and I bought it. So I now have the Criterion DVD of Harold and Maude, which I never thought I would get. Which, if you're wondering why Phil's not exactly surprised, is because I told him I couldn't.
Yeah.
I couldn't keep this information to myself.
No, yeah, like 3 days ago, I got back from work and I got a text from you that was like, "Dude, I got it." I was like, "Fuck yeah!"
I like audibly like gasped like because I was like, how? It was still like it was like $30, which is, like $10 more than like a regular Blu-ray Criterion, but still, I mean, you're never gonna find something like that again. That's like finding what's another really famous out of print Criterion movie? That's like finding like a John Woo Criterion movie. It's like, how did you even?
That's like finding that's like finding the original Citizen Kane Laserdisc. Not as bad as that, but rare.
Yeah, that's like finding La Grande Illusion, because that was like the first Criterion spine of like the discs, and that one's out of print. But while I was there, I also decided, because it was only a few bucks, I decided to pick up the second Michael Bay film in the collection, The Rock, which is I've actually seen this one. Yeah, we talked about that a few episodes ago.
Yeah. All right, forgot about that. I wasn't sure.
That's all good, but yeah, I've actually seen The Rock, and it's, I don't know if it's deserving to be in the Criterion Collection, but it's obviously much more deserving than Armageddon.
Well, I don't feel like any Michael Bay film is deserving to be in the Criterion Collection, but
if any of them were deserving, I guess it would be The Rock. The Rock is a good movie.
Yeah.
But all right. I guess we should probably get into the movie we're discussing.
Yeah.
Or if you got anything to add before we continue.
Oh no, I was gonna say if I were to add a Michael Bay film, it would be Transformer 3, which is obviously a joke because it's a fucking horrible film. One of my worst experiences in a movie theater. God, that was boring.
Dude, Transformers box set when?
Yeah.
Oh god, that'd be awful. All right,
yeah,
so
let's get into it.
Let's do it. So, Punch Drunk Love, Paul Thomas Anderson, very, very, I guess, famous would probably be the word to use. Or it's one of his more like, I would say, well-known movies because like obviously there's like There Will Be Blood and Boogie Nights, but I remember hearing about Punch Drunk Love even as like a kid when Adam Sandler was big.
Yeah, because well, obviously, when you have Adam Sandler, it's easier to like make bigger numbers at the box office, but also like I feel like it might be a film that's more accessible to a larger audience than I feel like his other films are more for like cinephiles, if that makes sense.
I would actually.
Well, they're more marketed.
Oh yeah, no, they're definitely.
They're more marketed.
It's a little. Yeah, here's what I think about Punch Drunk Love being like accessible is that like I honestly have not seen like it's one of the more like weirder films I've seen that like still manages to be like pretty grounded at certain points. But I can definitely see why. Like, imagine, right? You're like an Adam Sandler fan in like the early 2000s, and you're like, man, I can't wait to go see this new Adam Sandler movie. I bet it's gonna be funny. And then you go and see this absolutely, almost like abstract, weird, like art house movie with Adam Sandler running around buying pudding, like.
Yeah.
So okay, I'll summarize, I guess, the film. So
sure.
The film's main character is Barry Egan, who runs a little like a plunger sales place out of a garage in Los Angeles. And one night he decides to call a phone sex line, who then proceed to steal his credit card information and attempt to extort him. He kind of, just hangs up on him and starts going on with his day. He gets set up by his sisters to go on a date with a woman named Lena. And they hit it off pretty well. And they decide to start, like seeing each other. Around this time, he starts to get more calls from like the extortion or like the sex hotline, and they basically say like, look, we're gonna send some people after you if you don't give us money. And so they do. They send people after him. They hurt Lena and basically like hurt him. He tries to give them money, but then he runs away. He decides. So okay, another facet of this that is like kind of like a running plot line in the background is the fact that Barry decided he found a loophole in this coupon like promotion for I believe it's American Airlines, where you could get like some number of frequent flyer miles if you bought these products. He discovers that he can find a loophole by buying pudding cups and getting a lot more miles out of them than they would be in like actual value. So he basically gets like millions of frequent flyer miles and can fly anywhere he wants for the rest of his life. So he decides near the midpoint of the movie, when everything's just going weirdly, he decides to go with Lena to Hawaii for a bit, which is just kind of a fun little sequence. And they basically start like seriously dating at that point. They get back, and that's when the like attack happens. Lena's put in the hospital, so Barry decides to fly to Utah to go and beat up the go and beat up the phone sex hotline. He goes in there, threatens Philip Seymour Hoffman, who plays the antagonist in this movie, and then he leaves, and then him and Lena stay together, and it's just a happy ending. And it's a very short movie, and it doesn't, like, saying it out loud, it doesn't seem like much happens, but it really at points just feels like this like grand little like just fun little adventure with Adam Sandler about a very deeply troubled man. Which I love, by the way, Adam Sandler's performance in this movie. It is
he's great.
Ridiculous. It's so funny.
When given the right role and the right film and everything, Adam Sandler can be a really good actor.
Like, for sure. People were... The big shock that a lot of people had with movies like Uncut Gems was the whole, like, oh, Adam Sandler can be a good actor, when we already kind of knew that with, like, Punch Drunk Love. It's just that Punch Drunk Love wasn't nearly as popular as Uncut Gems was and still is.
Absolutely,
Which I learned this a little bit ago before starting the podcast, but the box office return on Punch Drunk Love only made back about, I think it was $300,000 short of what the budget was. So the budget was like $25 million, and the budget was, or in the box office was 24.7. So it's pretty unfortunate.
Yeah.
But I mean,
ouch.
The movie's obviously gained like cult status since then.
Yeah, and I mean,
and it's
like,
become pretty popular.
Yeah, and I mean also like PTA has like such a massive following that, like, you know, all of his fans obviously love all of his films, so that's definitely like a big part of it.
Oh, of course, and plus, like, it's not that PTA like went through like a dry spell after this. Like 5 years later, he made There Will Be Blood, and then it was like, oh shit, all right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm trying to think of specific scenes that I enjoy a lot. But the entire movie kind of blends together in like the best way possible. I love particularly like an aspect of it. I guess I love a lot is the use of color when it comes to everything. Like obviously Barry's suit is blue, Lena's dress is red throughout most of the movie. And I believe the movie like starts with Barry wearing a blue suit and a blue tie, but it ends with him wearing a blue suit and a red tie, kind of symbolizing how like Lena's made her way into his life, and like become a part of him, which is just really cool. I've always loved when color makes its way into film like that.
Yeah.
But were there any specific scenes that stood out to you, or just aspects of it?
Well, can I have a lot of good stuff to say about this film, but there's like one thing that I didn't like, so I'd like to talk about that and then get this out of the way. I did not like the ending, or should I say, really? I did not like. I didn't like the conclusion to the sex line thing with Philip Seymour Hoffman's character. I thought it was just like, you know, he flew to Utah to see Philip Seymour Hoffman, and then he went to see him, and not a lot happened, you know? Like, it's just like, he came there, and he said, hey, fuck you, and then Philip Seymour Hoffman said, fuck you? No, fuck you! And then he left. That's basically what happened.
Yeah. I enjoy it because I just kind of like, I don't know, I like how the movie doesn't go all out with it, but it's also, I can understand how it could be anticlimactic. Like, basically what happens is that, like, Barry walks in like, you know, just talks about how he wants him to leave him alone, and like just kind of like, you know, gets him to agree to leave him alone, and then as he's leaving, Philip Seymour Hoffman's like, get out of my store, you pervert, and it's like, what did I say? And then Philip Seymour Hoffman's just like, all right, we're square, and then he just kind of leaves. But yeah, it's just,
I was kind of like, but I was kind of like, that's it, that's all it is. Like,
I guess a way you could, sorry to cut you off, but I guess a way to describe how what it means is like the entire movie Adam Sandler is either like vocalizing like physical, or he's either vocalizing his violence or actually physically acting it out by either like punching walls or tearing up a bathroom in one scene. But in a way it's kind of fitting for the conclusion of his character not to be through like a big like fight with this guy, but just to walk in, you know, scare him a bit and then just leave. Like, that kind of shows, I guess, a bit of emotional maturity from Barry. So I guess that's a way to look at it, and I just kind of came up with that right now. So there's probably holes in that analyzing, but I don't know. I kind of that's what I kind of get from it.
Sure,
but I can see how it could be disappointing.
Well, I will say though, like, for the not so big amount of screen time that he has, Philip Seymour Hoffman's performance is so good.
Oh, he's incredible.
Yeah.
Like he only
It's
has like 5 minutes in the movie, but it's so funny.
Yeah, like
Like, what
the
is
scene
he?
where they talk on the phone, he's just like starts screaming at him, and it's like
Yeah, it was
so.
just shut up.
Yeah,
It's so good.
it's really good.
Yeah.
Um.
Um,
So all right, can I directly go into something that I wanted to mention?
yeah,
Um, something that I noticed is it's kind of funny how, like, obviously throughout the entire podcast we're going to do a lot of comparisons with the film and Uncut Gems, and I think it's funny how,
yeah,
like, I mean, obviously they're the two films that Adam Sandler did that are very, like, much more drama oriented, and I think it's funny how they also somehow have two very similar stories. Like, they both have a thing of Adam Sandler, like, getting in a lot of trouble and being, like, beat up and stuff, and it's like it's weird how in both films he gets in, like, in the trunk of a car. Well, not really the trunk of a car in Punch Drunk Love, but
right. Like the
kidnapped
bed
in
of
the
a
car.
truck.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's the same thing.
yeah,
But I guess yeah, two, obviously there's the comparisons, but I guess to contrast it from Uncut Gems in a way, Uncut Gems feels like a bad dream, because it's just like,
mm-hmm.
it's overbearing, and like,
Yeah,
Harold just keeps throwing all this stuff into the pot, like, I'll bet here, and it just keeps spiraling deeper and deeper into a pit of just anxious film. But Punch Drunk Love kind of contrasts it in a way that, like, it's very, like, calm and healing almost. Like, every time I finish Punch Drunk Love, which I've only watched it twice now, I'm left in a good headspace from it, because I'm just like, man, that was good. I'm like, I feel
yeah,
good after that.
yeah. Mm-hmm. Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
But I was just reminded of something. A few months ago I watched videos that were like, I forgot the actual name, but it was like a round table of either, sometimes they did director, sometimes they did actor, and, well, one of the times they did actors, and it was the year that Uncut Gem came out. It was like just a conversation between a bunch of actors in a round table, and so it was. And there was Adam Sandler for Uncut Gems. There was Adam Driver for Marriage Story, and there was, all those big name actors known for making, like, drama movies. And then there was Adam Sandler, who was more known for comedy movies, and then he made dramas. And at some point he said, like, I feel like I don't deserve to be here, and I think it's either Adam Driver or Shia LaBeouf that said bullshit. And yeah, I think it's funny because, like, more people need to know that, like, I also feel like he not necessarily that he needs, but I wish that he would do more of those kinds of films, because it's so great to watch.
Oh, it's always really good. I would love to see Sandler work with more competent, or, like, just not even competent, just, like, really well-known good filmmakers, because I think it could come out with some really good stuff. Like, obviously he's already worked with PTA and the Safdie brothers. I think it'd be cool to see him work with, like, others. Like,
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of, not to say that, like, all of his comedy films are bad either. Like, obviously there's, like, Diamonds in the Rough. Like, I enjoy. I don't know. I enjoy, on a surface level, like, movies like Happy Madison, or no, not Happy Madison, Happy Gilmore, and
Mm-hmm.
I have a soft spot for Click. I'll say that.
Oh,
I don't hate the movie.
I absolutely get it. Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah, I have a soft spot for that movie, but there's,
I will say,
obviously movies like I don't know, The Ridiculous Six, or, like, Grown Ups. At that point, it's like, okay, this is awful.
Well, all right. I'll be honest. Like, I know it's probably mostly due to nostalgia. I have a
Hmm.
massive soft spot for both of the grown-ups film and Just Go With It.
That's fine.
Because I mean, I remember I just watched them all the time. It's like they're not really good movies, but they're like inoffensive bad films. You know,
Yeah.
like you've got bad films that are like there's so many issues with them and there's so many stuff that's wrong with them. With those films, it's more like, well, the humor isn't that great, and the story's a bit bland and a bit overused. But besides that, it's fine. You know.
It's not like Jack and Jill or anything like that. They're fine.
Jack and Jill sucks.
Oh yeah,
no,
no,
you
it's
know
terrible.
what? You know what other film from him I like? It's
What's
That's My
that?
Boy, which is actually
I haven't seen that one.
it's the film
That's
that made me the first made me discover Andy Samberg. Like before I knew
Oh yeah,
what
yeah.
what Lonely Island was or what Brooklyn Nine-Nine was. And it's like, after having listened to a lot of Lonely Island and having watched all of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, they're definitely not as good as what Andy Samberg does on his own,
Oh
but
no,
it's
but
like honestly, I kind of like it.
yeah, I have a very like interesting past with like Andy Samberg because I remember when I was younger, I wasn't little, but I was like maybe 13. My dad would put on like
Mhm.
Lonely Island albums when we would drive around, and we would watch his movie Hot Rod, back from like the 2000s.
Oh,
I
I
don't
still
remember
haven't
much
seen that
about it,
one.
but
Yeah,
I remember it being pretty all right. I have the DVD somewhere. I'll have to rewatch it, but
yeah.
I have a big soft spot for a lot of the Lonely Island, but going back to listen to, like, I like, because they did like three albums. I think it was like
Hmm.
Incredibad, Turtleneck and Chain, and Whack album. And I remember
Hmm.
like I re-listened to them like last year. Incredibad is pretty good. Turtleneck and Chain is like, it has some fine stuff, and Whack album's just kind of bad.
Yeah.
But it's full of like obviously just stupid humor, and some of it lands and some of it doesn't. Like I love tracks like I don't know, like Punch Your Jeans from
Yeah.
Incredibad, where they rap about punching someone in the jeans, and it has some of the actual best rhymes I've ever heard. Like what was it, like I hate your jeans, gonna throw a haymaker, rocking your slacks from here to Jamaica. It's like stupid. I love it.
Oh, you know
Um,
what? Not
what's that?
necessarily my favorite song from Lonely Island, but the one that makes me laugh the most is "Threw It on the Ground," because I
That
just think
one's stupid, but I love it.
it's so stupid,
It's
but I think it's so funny. Like, I'm an adult. But
my
yeah,
this is a cell phone.
this ain't my dad, man.
Man.
Um, man. But I'd say, like, purely in terms of listening to it, I'd say my favorite one is either Jizz in My Pants or Jack Sparrow with Michael Bolton, which is so great.
Jack Sparrow is like fantastic.
I
Oh
mean,
God.
and it's like it would never have been nearly as good if it wasn't for Michael Bolton. Like, not
Oh
only did
no.
he like not only did he say yes to doing that, but he was like clearly having so much fun.
Oh, you can tell it's really good, especially in the
Oh
music
man,
video too. 'Cause I
yeah,
remember there's all this Oh God, I oh God, it's been a long, long time since those days. But that's funny.
yeah.
Ugh. But yeah, Andy Samberg's always been pretty good. I remember I liked the first season of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but I didn't watch much past that.
Yeah. The last episode actually aired yesterday. I don't know if you knew that.
The last episode of like all of it.
Yeah, yeah. It was the last episode of the last
Really?
season. The actual conclusion of the show aired yesterday.
Oh wow. Huh.
Yeah.
I did
And
not.
so
I did not know that.
Yeah, and I didn't watch it yet because like I'm waiting for it to get on Netflix.
Right.
But I saw part of it on Twitter, and it was like part of the conclusion, and I saw that, and it was so wholesome. It's like, oh, I love it. And that's such a great conclusion. Yeah, but I honestly really like Brooklyn Nine-Nine. It's I think it's one of the funniest shows that's been made in a long time.
I remember liking what I saw of it back when it came out, I think. But yeah, back to Punch Drunk Love.
Yep.
One of my other
Yeah.
favorite things that I would feel remiss if I didn't mention was the really, really eclectic soundtrack. Because like,
Oh yeah, I wrote about that. And yeah.
yeah, when there's scenes with like Adam Sandler only, and he's like just kind of walking around and doing all the stuff at like his workplace, it's like it's really like it's synth heavy and kind of like weird, and like there's just random instruments thrown in like throughout there. But then when he's with Lena, it's like all strings and it's all pretty and arranged. It really like everything works in this movie with the theme of it being chaos without Lena in the picture, and I think that's so cool.
It's
Another thing another detail I mentioned, I guess, or I noticed when I saw this. This is my second time seeing it. There's the scene when he's about to tell I forget what his co-worker's name is.
It's Lance.
Lance, yeah. It's the scene where he's about to tell Lance that he like phoned the sex hotline, but then he looks towards the pudding. If you pay really close attention at that part, you can hear a little voice when the camera pans over to the pudding. You can hear a voice say like "over here, Barry" or something. It's like really weird. And just adds that much more strangeness to this entire movie, and I love it.
I know that the scene where I noticed the music the most was in. It's also the scene where I took the most notes. I think it's probably my favorite scene of the whole film. It's the scene when he's like properly introduced to Lena. Which is
that's
like
a really good scene.
Probably the most chaotic scene of the entire film.
Yeah. And
it's one of those scenes I remember watching it and being like, what the hell is going on? And, it was a great scene, honestly.
Yeah, I love in that scene too, like where he's like kind of like just kind of talking to him, and like in the background like three of his employees like knock a bunch of stuff over. And Lena's like, "Is everything okay?" And he's like, "Hold on, let me check." And he's like, "Everything all right, fellas?" "Yeah, everything's fine." And then, like, he gets right back to talking.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so every scene in that like, in like the plunger factory or whatever is just so, like, chaotic and weird. Like he's walking around punching walls. There's the scene Another scene I forgot to mention was the first scene where like he's getting all the calls from his sisters, like asking if he's gonna be there that night, and he keeps like trying to talk to these people, like potential clients about their plungers, and one of my favorites is like, it's like, "Barry, you have a call on line 2," and he just goes, "Okay, 1 second." He's like, "These handles are actually the unbreakable type." And he just like slams it on the table and it bursts into like a million pieces, and he goes, "I guess this was one of the breakable ones. I'm sorry, I'll be right back." And then he just goes and talks on the phone for a couple minutes. But in the background, you can see Lance like testing them out with them in the background. He's just slamming them on the table. I noticed that. That was another detail I noticed this time around. Yeah. Oh, I was cracking up. Yeah, if anyone wants to look up that scene and take a look at the window behind Barry after that scene, because you can just see Lance slamming him on the tables.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch that now.
Yeah, it's really good. But were there any other scenes that stuck out to you?
I really like, especially the first time it happened. I really like the moments where, he was just like breaking stuff due to his anger, like when he just randomly broke windows, at his sister's place. It's like, I think it's really interesting how every time that happens, it's always related to, his sisters.
Yeah,
And the embarrassment that they cause him, and yeah, I think that's,
you can tell that he like just hates his sisters in some way. But
yeah.
I think one of my favorite things about that glass breaking scene is like earlier on. It's when it's at like all the sisters' houses, or like house. He like walks in here. He opens the door to go into the party, and he overhears his sisters talking. He's like, "Hey, remember when we used to call remember when we used to call Barry gay boy?" And you just see Barry like walk in for a second and then close the door again.
Yeah.
So good.
Oh,
That's really all I can say. That's really all I can say about this movie is it's great. But yeah, go ahead.
Another thing that I have, which I'm sure it has some kind of explanation, but I couldn't really figure one out myself, and I didn't have the time to check. What's the meaning behind the piano? I'm sure it has one.
I am sure it has one too. I honestly don't know.
Let me do a
take a look and see if anyone's. Yeah. See if anyone smarter than us has done an analysis.
It's a symbol for his desire to reconnect with life in a way that has music in it.
All right.
Sure. It is kind of interesting how, like, the piano is just randomly dropped in the street, exactly where he meets Lena for the first time. Like, I think actually a few hours apart.
Yeah.
And yeah, I guess it makes sense.
Yeah, that works. I'll take that.
I kind of get that.
Yeah, it also helps that like it also helps that the final shot of the movie is Lena walking up behind him and hugging him as he plays the little piano. So that kind of like brings more life into his life, I guess, just more color. I don't know. It's such a good little moment. This movie's full of good moments.
Yeah. And then there's a few other small things that I wrote. There's a bunch of moments that has like very like almost psychedelic visuals, almost out of nowhere.
Yeah.
With like a bunch of weird colors in it. Like I don't really know why they're there, but I like them.
That's exactly how I feel about them too. It's like I don't know why these are here, but I like that. Like it's all like all the color bars, all the color bars, and then it gets to like the weird blotches. It's like it's such a weird scene transition, but like weird in the best way.
Yeah.
There was like maybe 30 minutes before we started recording, I decided to go on like online to see if there are any fan theories about stuff from the movie. And I found a really interesting one that I think was just kind of funny. Someone had a theory that, or I guess this is just an internet fan theory, like no one really knows where it came from. It posits that the film contains numerous references to Barry being Superman. So Barry's always wearing a blue suit. By collecting the free air miles, he can fly anywhere he wants to. When Lena holds Barry from behind at the end of the movie, her red dress kind of looks like the cape on the back of his blue suit. He seems to have like kind of super strength throughout the movie. Like I don't know many people who look like that can punch massive hole or massive dents into walls and bust up bathrooms just with their bare hands. So I guess in a way,
Yeah.
like
Uh,
there's like a Superman resemblance in that like super strength kind of there, which I'm only now realizing like that wasn't part of the text that I saw, but but that makes a lot of sense now that I say that, and I like that theory quite a lot.
yeah. I. Yeah. I guess it makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fun little way to look at the movie. I like it a lot.
Uh huh. I will say it's interesting how, like, every time I watch a film that I heard about for a long time, I always have expectations. This film was very far from being what I thought it was.
What
I
did you
thought
think
it
it
would
was?
be well. First of all, I thought it would be less weird, less chaotic.
Yeah,
Um,
I had the same like idea in my head.
yeah, I don't. I thought that Adam Sandler would play a more like less awkward character.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, I I also I don't know why I think I just mixed up with another film, but I thought it was the like a love story between like high school sweethearts.
Oh, what?
I
I
don't
feel
know
like that's
why.
another Adams. I feel like that's another Adam Sandler movie. I don't know why
Maybe
that. It's possible at this point. Anything is possible.
at this point, I'm sure he's done that before.
Of course.
I don't know why I thought that was the story, but and then I saw that and I was like, oh, this is not what I thought this was gonna be.
No.
But yeah, it was kind of like a nice little surprise. Uh, the film was very good.
Yeah. This being my second Paul Thomas Anderson film really kind of threw me for a loop because my first one was Boogie Nights. And
Yeah.
obviously Boogie Nights is it's pretty straightforward with a lot of his stuff. It doesn't really get into like uh, kind of crazy themes. Punch Drunk Love is like a whole nother beast. It gets weird from the beginning and just doesn't stop. And I love the atmosphere of this movie because it feels so
Yeah.
it feels so peaceful, but like
It
it feels so peaceful while touching on these like themes of like aggression and like and trying
you
to
know
like,
you know
manage that.
you know what this film reminds me of? It gives
What's
me
that?
very very big late 90s Coen brothers vibe. Like Fargo and Big Lebowski.
Oh,
It really
it
reminds
kind
me
of
of
does.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can see that.
And it's something that I really like the that kind of dark movies in Los Angeles that show like the
Yeah.
darker side of the city, that kind of stuff.
It,
I really like that.
I haven't seen Fargo, so I can't speak for it.
Well,
But
it's not Los Angeles, but same vibe.
well, yeah,
still.
but like I can definitely see how it could relate to something like Big Lebowski, because Big Lebowski is another movie about like I don't know. It's another movie about just some guy in Los Angeles being extorted,
yeah,
and then going on a big adventure that feels like kind of free forming and fluid throughout Los Angeles. And I think that comparison works. I like. Well, obviously both of these movies are great, but like I guess
yeah,
not the same feeling is captured, but I guess I understand completely
right.
the comparison.
And they also both have Philip Seymour Hoffman, but
That's true.
with two completely different characters.
Yeah.
Um,
God, I forgot Philip Seymour Hoffman was in The Big Lebowski.
Yeah, no, he's very like I don't know. It's not the kind of roles that he usually has. I think,
No, yeah, definitely not.
but it's good. I like it.
Oh yeah.
Um,
I
Hold on, let me look in my notes to see if I have anything else to say.
I think that might be all I have to say on the movie.
I really, that's a small thing, but I really like how like the scene where it first starts to the like sex phone line, that
Yeah.
was so awkward in the
It was
best
so
way.
it was so awkward, and that's like emphasized by like the camera movements and how close the camera is to him. Like
Mhm.
the camera never changes like elevation in that scene. It only pans around the room, and it's all done in what seemingly looks like one take of Adam Sandler walking around this room talking.
Yeah,
And some
yeah.
of my favorite dialogue in the entire movie, like what was it, like what did it say, like is your or like, are you hard? And he just goes, I don't know what it's doing right now.
Yeah.
or like are you stroking it? And he goes, no, I am not. It's so funny. That reminds me, like, I guess
Yeah.
I was gonna bring this up because like I watched it this week with a couple friends and we've been quoting it ever since. But there's the scene where Sandler, like, he's talking to one of his sister's husband who is a I think he says he's like a he's no he goes yeah he goes he's a doc. He says all that Barry knows is that he's a doctor. So he's like, look, I don't like myself sometimes, so do you think you could help me with that? And the guy goes, Barry, I'm a dentist. What you need is a psychiatrist. I can get one for you. But
Yeah.
I just like, Barry, I'm a dentist. There's so much deadpan like comedy lines in this film that are delivered perfectly, and I love it every time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think that's all I had to say.
That's about all I had as well.
All right.
Yeah, Punch Drunk Love, fantastic movie. Go watch it.
Yep. Really good.
All right.
Yeah. So, did you have anything else that you wanted to mention? Because I sure do.
Oh, are you talking in regards to Punch Drunk Love or just in general?
Oh no, in general, for like to go into another discussion.
Oh, go ahead.
All right. I need to talk about something that I discovered thanks to one of my classes.
Go right ahead.
So I will have to talk. This is gonna be another great conversation about foreign cinema. I have a class this semester that is about foreign films, and so the way the class is made is it's a 4-hour long class, which sounds like absolute hell. But the way that is made is that you have about the first half of the class is purely theory, and the second half of the class is you watch a film. They just show us a film.
I had a class like that last semester too, but it was
Yeah.
online, so we didn't actually go to like any kind of place. We just watched the movie and then got on Zoom to talk about it. But so
Right.
I understand. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so we're gonna be talking about at some point I know at some point we're gonna be talking about Wong Kar-wai, so I'm very excited about that.
Ooh.
Also gonna be talking about like Iran and the Middle East countries, but right now we're talking about the Czechoslovak New Wave,
Oh.
which I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Not too familiar. I think
All right.
my own class might be getting into that, but I'm not sure.
So, the Czechoslovak New Wave is kind of similar to what happened in France with the French New Wave, where it was the filmmakers at the time that wanted to do they're kind of like their own style. They were feeling a bit rebellious, and they, that kind of stuff. Except that the style of the type of movies that they made is extremely different. Like, it's two very different things. And the Czechoslovak New Wave is a lot more into like surrealism, I'd say.
Okay.
And
I like that.
yeah, like at the beginning, like before the teacher started to tell us about the Czechoslovak New Wave, she said like, all right, but guys, you gotta get ready because like this is pretty weird stuff. So you really need to have an open mind for this. I was like, fucking bring it on! I'm ready for this. I've been waiting my entire life for this. Go on, but so it's there's a lot of stuff because especially at the time, like the situation, especially like in terms of politics in Czechoslovakia was much more different than was in France, where there was a lot of like censorship and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Especially like, this at the end, I think like in '68, Czechoslovakia was taken by the USSR. So then it became very difficult to for these filmmakers to make movies. Some of them stopped making movies for a really long time, or some of them moved to America, like a director that a lot of people might know, which is Milos Forman.
Really?
Who is known for making Fly Over a Cuckoo's Nest or Amadeus. Before that, he was a very important director in the Czechoslovak New Wave. But so there are two films that we watched, one short film and one feature film, that I really want to talk about because I feel like they're both very interesting.
Sure
So I'm gonna start with the short film, which actually is my favorite of the two. It's 5 minutes. No, never mind. It's 20 minutes long, and I'm sure you can probably find it on like YouTube or something. So I really recommend everyone to go watch it once they're done. It's called The Hand. It's an animated short film that's got like stop motion, and it's an allegory on censorship. And that's basically what the film is, and it's about a small character who loves to sculpt, he loves to do pottery, loves to make small pots for his flowers. But then there's a hand that comes into his house and tells him, no, you're not gonna do that anymore. You're gonna sculpt hands, and basically, the small character represents the artist in Czechoslovakia. The hand represents the government, and basically, throughout the entire short film, the hand just tries in many different ways to make the artist draw hands. First, starting with propaganda by showing him a TV with a lot of hands, a newspaper with again a lot of hands, but that doesn't work. So once that doesn't work, the hand which was in a don't want to say anything, but the hand which was in a white glove then goes into a black glove and goes into a violence mode, and so that's more like when the government decides to like go more with like in a brutal way, and it's all that kind of stuff. And like before the teacher showed us this short film, she told us like try to find the different representations of censorship, and I was watching that and I was identifying a bunch of stuff, and throughout the entire film I was just like, oh my god, this is so good. And yeah, so 20 minutes long, amazing film.
I'll have to give that a watch.
I think it's the only short film that gave me like that I had an immediate 5-star.
Really?
So just saying.
I still have not seen a short film that I've given 5 stars. I guess the closest that would be is Jack Stober's Opal. That's probably my favorite short film I've ever seen.
Right.
But ones that got very close are like I believe it was a French Canadian film called Fauve.
Yep. Yeah, I knew you were
Yeah.
gonna say that one. Yeah.
Yeah, that one's very good. I watched that
Yeah.
in my class recently. But I'm trying to
Yeah,
think
we
of
were
like
shown
other
that.
really good ones.
Yeah, I actually have. I also have like a class where was the entire point of that class is with like the end project at the end of the semester, which is we're gonna make an actual like short film. We're actually gonna like
Ooh.
hire actors and that kind of stuff, and that's really fucking cool. So everyone in the class is gonna make their own screenplay, and so in
Ooh.
preparation for that, our teacher's been showing us a bunch of short films, which
Well,
which
now I'm
has been
excited.
very
Now I'm
nice.
excited to see. Now I'm excited to see what you make.
Yeah, yeah. I also am excited to see what I'm gonna make. Um, but yeah, so that I got to watch this month. I got to watch a bunch of very interesting short films.
Oh yeah.
And that's been really cool. Because you can do so much stuff in a short film. So yeah, that's really fun.
I just remembered like two other really good short films that have gotten close to
Yeah.
being like perfect. Is Satoshi Kon's short for what was that movie called? It was like Anakiri 15 or something. It was called it
Uh
was
huh.
Good Morning, and it's like just a minute
Yep.
long. Yeah.
I
That
saw
one's
that one.
really
Yeah.
good. One's really good. It's basically it really is just like a minute of Satoshi Kon flexing how brilliant he is. um, but
Yeah.
another really good short film is from like 1929 from Salvador Dali and I'm pretty sure you
Oh.
pronounce his name Louis Buñuel. I'm not too sure.
I mean, I'm pretty
Louis,
sure he's Spanish, so I'm not the best one to say.
yeah.
I think it's
But it's
Buñuel. I think
Buñuel probably, but Un Chien Andalou
him.
is basically the film.
Yep.
But I love
Yeah, I
that
saw that
movie
one as
because
well.
I love that short film because it's so strange. I actually had to write a paper on it. So on my hard
Mm-hmm.
drive, I have my Un Chien Andalou paper, and I just liked it. I liked it a lot. But yeah, we're
It's a
watching.
crazy fucking film.
Oh, it's insane. It's
Yeah.
Salvador Dali doing like most of the
Oh
visuals,
man.
so obviously.
Hell yeah.
But
Yeah.
I've seen over the past like year, especially thanks to class, I've seen like dozens of short films.
Yeah.
But what was the movie you watched?
Oh, that was a film called Daisies, which was very
Okay.
weird.
All right.
It's basically it's about those two sisters that do like they love to they're a very big representation of like the young people in Czechoslovakia wanting to be like free and to not follow the rules and to be like they don't really give a fuck. And so
Yeah.
basically most of the things they do is like they just hang out in their room or they go to like a restaurant and like do a bunch of like random shit that puts them in trouble. Oh, and they also eat. Like in every single scene, pretty much they have some kind of food with them, and they just eat. So this
I'm
was
gonna
not.
add that. I'm gonna add
Yeah,
that to my watch list.
it's honestly really good. It's not. I will say it's not the best film to watch in a class in the morning when you had a pretty small breakfast, because throughout the
Great.
entire film I was just like, oh my god, I just want to eat. Because it's pretty fucking good though. I really like it.
Yeah. It's funny that you bring up like classes that show
Mm-hmm.
films because I have a couple of those, or I have one of them is basically like every week we watch a film and then the next class we talk about it. But I saw like 3 movies in my classes in the past couple weeks. I watched The 400 Blows, which we already talked about, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I watched.
Well, we mentioned it.
Yeah, we mentioned it. We watched Repulsion by Roman Polanski, which
Yes.
Polanski, horrible dude. He is a pretty good filmmaker, though.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Repulsion is okay. I wasn't blown away by it, but you can definitely see like where because it came out before Rosemary's Baby. You can see like where the sprouts of Rosemary's Baby started to form. But we also watched one of Peter Jackson's first films, called Heavenly Creatures, which I think that's what it's called. Yeah, that movie is pretty wild. I liked it for how crazy it was willing to go, but it was a fun one.
Yeah, I really have to watch like Peter Jackson's really like first films. Like the first film he made was like a no budget film that he made with the I think it was like with the money he made by working in a movie theater. It was called Bad Taste. And it's honestly, for what it is, from what I've heard, also it's like really good, and it shows how good he was in making a film with what he had.
Yeah.
The film also it's like one of his least popular, least known films. It's Meet the Feebles, which is imagine the Muppets, but a lot more sexual and violent.
Love
the
it
Muppets,
already.
the Muppets, but not for kids.
Love it.
Yeah, it's actually pretty crazy.
Peter Jackson, he is some character.
Oh yeah.
But apart from class, in the past week I've been busy with watching movies.
Yeah.
Because like I do a thing over on just kind of my Snapchat where I just talk about like all the watch list movies or all the movies in my watch list that I've watched recently.
Mm-hmm.
And like apart from the movies that we've talked about here, like Harold and Maude, I've watched all 4 Evangelion Rebuild movies. And I saw just last night I went to go see a screening of a 2019 anime film called Promare.
Oh, nice.
And I really enjoyed it. It was very, very pretty.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been starting to go to the theater more, and I like it. I like it a lot.
It feels I need to do that.
It feels like old times.
Yeah. See, the thing is, I really want to do that as well. But one, I live in like the one area of Montreal that doesn't have a movie theater. So whenever I don't have a car. So whenever I want to see a movie in theater, I have to do like 30 minute to 1 hour of like bus and subway, and that's like, if I really want to watch a film, I'm gonna do that. But otherwise, it's pretty annoying. And
yeah.
Right now,
yeah, or you can go ahead.
All right. Well, right now, the one film that I really want to watch in theaters is this film called Annette. It's made by I'm not sure what his name is, but the guy who made a film called Holy Motors, and it's with Adam Driver and Marion Cotillard.
Oh wait! Is that the what was it called again? Annette.
It's
Adam Driver. Huh.
Adam Driver. It's made with the story was made by a band called Sparks, which is a band that I mostly discovered with a documentary that Edgar Wright directed this year, and that was one of the second film I watched in theaters when they reopened this year. And so it's a band that was like they made a lot of music back in like the 70s and 80s, but they're still active today, and they wrote this film that's apparently like pretty wild film, like also very like a lot of people don't like it, but all the people really like it.
I just added it to my just to my radar because like it must not be showing over where I am because like my friends and I talk about like Adam Driver movies all the time because like I don't know, we're film students. What else are we gonna talk about? But like I feel like if because literally last night we were at the movie theater and I feel like if we saw like this A&M movie, we would have been like, huh, is that Adam Driver?
Well, it is a very small film. It's not gonna play in every theater. It's actually I was looking it up in Montreal. It's playing in one theater.
Really?
Yeah, and like you know the entire city of like 1.5 million like population in Montreal, one theater shows this film.
That's something.
Yeah, and it's
like
it
was like when what was it, Bo Burnham's Inside was playing at several at like several theaters in Michigan, but not one in Ohio, like at all.
Yeah.
So I was like, I can't even go see it. I'm like, what's the point?
But I will say, if you want another thing that might make you, or maybe not, I don't know, but that at least make you interested in seeing this film. From what I've heard, there is a scene where Adam Driver performs oral sex on someone on a lady while singing. There is an actual scene. Oh
my god!
That's an actual scene that's in the film.
I adore that man. Yeah. Jesus Christ!
My favorite
so
review.
Funny.
My favorite review of the film on Letterboxd is someone who says, "Adam Driver growled, 'It's tickle time,' and somebody in my audience literally screamed."
That's hilarious.
I love Adam Driver so much.
He is. I don't know him in real life, but I am certain that he is probably a very fun man.
Because he seems so like when you see him in interviews, he seems so genuine.
Yeah, I very much enjoy his work as an actor, but I'm trying to think of. I saw another movie in the theater in the last week. Oh, I saw the new James Wan film, *Malignant*.
Ooh, how was that?
I did not like it. One of my friends really liked it.
Really?
I saw it with my girlfriend, and she was very excited because she's a huge Insidious fan. And so she was like, I want to go see *Malignant*. So I was like, all right. So we went to go see it, and like even when we left, she was just like, man, that was just not good, was it? But like, I almost feel like this is going to be another thing, because I had a similar situation where like it was a horror movie that like a lot of people really liked and I didn't like at all, with Invisible Man. It was last year. It was like right before COVID it came out. And I remember like I saw it with my friends and we left and we were all like, man, that was kind of dumb. And then like I see all the reviews the next day and everyone's like praising it and I'm like, I don't really understand. I just kind of chalked it up to just I don't get it. But with *Malignant*, I am willing to die on the hill that I think it's kind of dumb and really weird.
Yeah, I think it's a very
it uses a lot of CG in certain scenes. And for some scenes, it can blend in pretty well, but especially in the last act, the CG gets to be a little horrendous. So, I mean, I don't recommend seeing *Malignant*, but you might get something out of it that I didn't. So, I would say go ahead.
Well, I already know from the start that it's not my kind of horror film, so I'm already like, you know, I'm not the kind of person who loves. I only like specific types of horror films, and I know for a fact that this is not one of those types. So I'm not interested.
I like a good horror film every now and then. It's just it's when the movie, like, I understand that being a little bit goofy and being a little bit campy is like a staple of the horror genre, but
Yeah.
if you market yourself as an actual like scary movie, don't do this like comedy relief bullshit. Like
Yeah.
there was a movie a couple of years back called Brightburn. Uh it was like, I remember it was marketed as like a very serious take on the idea of like a Superman type story, but with Superman being evil instead. So like it's this kid who like uses his superpowers for evil, and I was like, God, that sounds kind of cool. I'll go see that. And I went to go see it. And I'm like, that's the stupidest thing I've seen in a while, because it was just funny. Like it was like really funny, in not a good way. But I remember we were leaving the theater, and one of my friends was like, "Yeah, I remember seeing it being marketed as like a horror comedy." And I went back. I was like, "There's no way that's true."
Really?
And I watched like every trailer, read like a couple interviews. No, it was marketed as like a pretty serious horror movie. So like, I don't see where that comes from at all. I hated that movie, which I'm sure you don't like. Okay, I'm not gonna say anything that explicitly spoils it for anybody, but I will say, I had probably one of the funniest theater experiences ever when I was watching it, because it was like the perfect cherry on top of a really bad movie. Was literally like, you see like just kind of like the last shot of the movie, and then like the words Brightburn come on screen. It's like about to start the credits, but right before the credits start, you hear Billie Eilish come in and go, "I'm the bad guy," and then it cuts to the credits, and I was like, "Oh no!"
Huh. Ooh, that's.
I don't mind.
Okay.
I don't mind Billie Eilish, but that was
Yeah.
like the worst use of music I've heard in a movie in a long time. Well, I guess
Yeah,
it was
it's really like.
it was, it was 2 years ago still, but it was like, it's just a weird moment. Which, who directed that one?
But you know what's funny about my.
Yeah, go ahead.
What's funny about my opinion on horror films is like just how much it changed in the last 4 or 5 years. Like back when I was 14 years old, I remember I kept saying like, I don't understand why people like horror films. Like, you know, being scared is not a fun thing. So why would you go watch a movie simply just to be scared? And then you jump to today, where like, if you give me a horror film that is precisely the kind of horror film that I liked, I'm going to have such an awesome time, you know?
Oh yeah, I always understood why like certain scary things could be fun. Like I always loved like an idea that like kind of like gets at me and makes me go like, oh, that's creepy. But like I was the same as you. Like I was always just kind of like, I don't understand these horror movies though, because like, I don't know, I never understood like Insidious or The Conjuring. I especially never understood The Conjuring, because I remember I saw The Nun when it came out, which was I'm pretty sure it was in the Conjuring series, and I thought it was like everything a horror movie shouldn't be, and honestly, I think it's like for the past like 3 or 4 years, the worst movie I've seen in those years have been horror movies. Like there's Slender Man, Ma was really bad. Trying to think of some other like really off the wall awful films.
I feel like Netflix made a lot of very bad horror films.
Yeah, Netflix wasn't good either with that.
Yeah.
Netflix had a bit of an issue with just making movies in general, because I feel like the 2010s were kind of an era for Netflix to like pad out what they have as like Netflix originals. Like they made some good calls here and there, like their stand-up comedian their stand-up comedy lineup was good. They had they had Stranger Things, which was good for a while. Trying trying to think of other like they have Black Mirror. Black Mirror's fantastic.
Yeah.
But like
they had Roma pretty early on.
They did have Roma. I forgot about Roma.
Yeah, it was like 2017.
Roma was really good. They had Roma. They had The Irishman.
Irishman,
but
like, that was more recent though.
Yeah, that was like 2019. But then you get films like the Kissing Booth trilogy, or like To All the Boys I've Loved Before, or just random stuff that they seem to just throw money out or throw money at and get onto their platform. And at some point, it kind of became like over, or like kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Just oversaturation of either mediocre stuff or just bad stuff in general. Like, obviously, you'll find stuff here and there that's like pretty good, but like for the most part.
I feel like Netflix also got very, just like any other streaming service, got very lucky during the pandemic, because a bunch of movies that were supposed to be only released in theaters ended up being released on Netflix. Like, especially I'm thinking about Mank by David Fincher.
Oh, yeah.
But I know there were a few others. I just can't think of them right now. It is a shame, though, that Mank is, in my opinion, David Fincher's worst film. Or at least good, I would say.
That's what I've heard. I haven't seen Mank. I haven't seen Mank yet, but
I will say it's kind of boring.
That's the consensus I've heard from basically everyone who talks about it.
And also I think it's funny how, like, well, not funny, but kind of ironic how the reason why, I don't know if you know this, but the reason why David Fincher made this film was because it was written many years ago by his father.
Really?
And it was written by his dad, and so I kind of, like, as a tribute to his dad, he decided to direct the film, and then it was nominated to a bunch of different Oscars. Not a single one was for the screenplay.
Oh.
So I feel, like it's cool that he did that. I'm happy for him that he got to do that, and I'm sure it was a very at least interesting experience. The screenplay, especially for a David Fincher film, was really not the best one he's worked with. And
I haven't seen it, so I haven't seen it, so I can't like attest to it. But I need to go on like a David Fincher binge sometime soon, just so I can watch all of his movies and finally get what everyone's talking about.
I mean, I recommend that you watch it because it's not. It's my least favorite of his films, but it's still a David Fincher film. So it's like,
it's
obviously.
Like a
3 out of 5.
I was
3.5.
I was intending to watch it, like not soon, but like eventually. But yeah, I saw it. I remember when it was nominated for like Best Picture. I saw it, but I was not surprised because that's like the exact movie that they would put on the Best Picture list. It's very typical of the Oscars.
But something that we'll say that is a thing I didn't like about the film that I think is worth mentioning is so the film, I don't know if you know what the film's about, but it's about, for those who don't know, it's about I forgot his full name, but the guy who wrote Citizen Kane.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is that the story is not as interesting as what it may seem. And throughout the entire film, the character was, had a bunch of funny moments and that kind of stuff. But I felt like, especially when it had scenes with Orson Welles, in a lot of those scenes, I thought, well, you know what? I think I'd rather watch a film about Orson Welles right now than watching a film about him.
Yeah,
he would have been he would have been a great secondary character in an Orson Welles biopic, Yeah,
that sounds good to me. Yeah, I would love to see like an Orson Welles biopic because he's just such an interesting man.
Yeah. It's like because I don't know if you knew about like the whole story of his contract on when he made Citizen Kane, but like he was 25 years old. No one. He was just a guy who was making plays in New York, and then out of nowhere he was asked to make a film, and he was given like full creative control over the film at 25 years old for his first film, which is like no one has ever had that before that. No one has ever had that since, and no one else will ever have that. It's like the greatest opportunity that you could ever have. It's actually insane.
I gotta say, I love Citizen Kane. Like I didn't think I would, cause like I remember because last year in my film class we watched like a lot of the greats, you know, like Casablanca,
Sure, yeah.
like Rebel Without a Cause, but I remember Citizen Kane specifically being one where I'm like, oh, you know, this is probably one of those ones that's like, you know, it'll be like very impressive for the time, but maybe it's not too entertaining right now. Citizen Kane is a fantastic movie from beginning to end. And I really like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I gotta say.
I will say that it's. I feel like at least it was the case for me. I feel like it's a film that's better to watch if you know like the whole context about it, because when you know exactly what this film changed and how much it changed Hollywood, it really makes you think like, yeah, that's actually insane all that he managed to do in only one film. But besides that, I don't know. I mean, obviously it was good, but it wasn't a five star for me, you know.
I get it. Yeah, I'll definitely be picking up the Criterion set though.
Yeah, me too.
When it drops in November. Which, speaking of which, I wanted to talk to you about the Criterion announcements of the last couple months, because I feel like that could be like a fun thing we do monthly, I guess, on here, is just discuss the new announcements.
Yeah, they announced the new ones like this week, didn't they?
Yeah, they announced it like just the other day. So let me see.
Yeah.
Let me get to the Criterion coming soon page.
Right.
So obviously, you know, in the past month, they announced, their step into the 4K market, with obviously the return of Citizen Kane into the collection. But other movies they're releasing in 4K are Uncut Gems. They're re-releasing Mulholland Drive. The
Red Shoes.
Yeah, they're re-releasing the Red Shoes. They're also releasing Menace to Society, which I'm very excited about.
Yep.
But other announcements that are coming out in the coming months are La Strada by Fellini is getting its own individual release. Devi by Sajiat Ray. Onibaba, which I'm very excited about.
Me too. Yeah, it seems. It looks amazing.
I'm definitely picking that one up. There's the Once Upon a Time in China box set, which won't be an immediate pickup for me, but I can definitely see myself picking it up in the future. There is The Learning Tree, which I don't know anything about. But one that I thought was especially interesting was the collection's first film from 2020 is getting released. One Night in Miami from Regina King. And I had actually not heard of this
That was
one.
a big surprise.
Yeah.
Really?
I had actually not heard of this one until the Criterion announcement. So I'm looking forward to probably watching it soon and deciding whether or not I want to pick it up when it releases.
I
Uh,
Yeah, I only
yeah.
heard about it because like it was nominated for a couple Oscars, and
Oh,
you know
that's
the
right.
story of
Yeah.
like, it's like a film with Malcolm X, Muhammad Ali, Jim Brown, and
Oh,
Sam
yeah.
Cooke, and it's like you hear that and it's like that sounds like a very interesting story. But
Sounds.
I
Yeah.
haven't
It's
seen it.
immediately grabbed me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm very interested to see. I guess how that film goes. But I guess since most of these will be coming out in the period of time during that November sale, I will
Mm-hmm.
probably I would say my for sure pickups will be Onibaba, Mulholland Drive 4K, Citizen Kane 4K, Uncut Gems 4K, and Menace to Society 4K. So
Yeah.
I'll be picking up a good number.
Hmm. Well, I know that I'm not gonna get any of the 4K because I don't have a 4K Blu-ray
Mm.
reader. I don't even have a 4K TV or monitor.
I
And
didn't
I don't.
have I
Yeah.
didn't have a 4K reader until I got my PlayStation 5, so I understand.
Hmm. But like,
um,
I'll be honest. Also, just in general, I don't feel the need to get them in 4K. I'm like
oh, I
really
understand.
fine with Blu-ray. Like I'm very satisfied with Blu-ray. But I'm definitely gonna get the Red Shoes, but the already released Blu-ray because that's a film that I
Yeah.
watched this summer and I was blown away by it. It's a beautiful film.
Ooh, I'll have to check it out then.
Um, yeah, it's really
Um,
good.
I
I,
was
yeah.
I was contemplating whether or not I wanted to buy the 4K, but I eventually decided on yes because it's just like obviously I can play them now. I don't have a 4K TV yet, but like the thing about just the difference between the 4K versions and the Blu-ray versions that the 4K is like, you know, just a little bit more like 20 it's like 25 if we're comparing it like the half off sale. It'll be like 25
Yeah.
rather than 20. So like, and it comes with a Blu-ray version of it anyway. So I'm like, why not?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that'll be
Sure.
fine. But yeah, I'll
But
be
yeah.
picking up those films at least from the recent sale or from the recent announcements.
Yeah, but I know that like, cause I only buy Criterion's during the 50% sales.
Oh, so
So I
do
know
I.
that so I know that during the next one, I'm mostly gonna get pre-released films. I know
Hmm.
that I'm probably gonna get the One Car Wide box set.
I
Cause I
recommend it.
I don't.
It's
Mhm.
probably if I had to like I don't know if I had to say it's probably my favorite Criterion release I own. It's just so
Yeah,
good.
cause it's like I don't have a single box set from Criterion, and if I were to get one, I feel like that would definitely be the best one.
Oh yeah,
Um, I also really I want to get an Eclipse box set
yeah.
because I know
I'm
you got like the early Kurosawa film. Is that
yeah.
what you got?
I got
Yeah.
their releases of the first four films of Kurosawa,
Hmm.
and I'm sometime in the future I'm hoping to get the post war Kurosawa set that they have, so I can just kind of complete the Kurosawa thing. Um,
Yeah.
but in terms of like what I want to pick up this November,
Mm-hmm.
like my primary pickups are obviously all the ones I just mentioned from the sale, but I also
Yeah.
want to pick up Yojimbo and Sanjuro, and I also want to pick up
Yes.
this I believe I'm gonna look it up so I'm not wrong. I'm gonna look up what country it's from so I'm not wrong. One second. It's a Hong Kong film, Throwdown, by Johnny Toe, and it's releasing on Criterion this month. But it looks really cool, so I'm definitely it's gonna be a complete
All right.
blind buy, but I'm fine with it because it looks really nice. But I also I probably want to. I'll probably want to get like maybe another David Lynch. Or actually, no, I'm getting Mulholland Drive already. I'll probably get like another Tarkovsky or something.
Yeah. I'd have to check because I made a list during the last sale, and there were a few films that I didn't get to buy. There's two films that ever since my first Criterion sale, which was back in February, ever since that sale, there was two films that like there were always the film that like didn't make the cut of the films that I wanted to get, which are Eyes Without a Face, which is a really good like horror film, a French horror film from 1960, and Brazil by Terry Gilliam.
I think we talked about that one.
Yeah. But so I, as I said, I was planning on getting an Eclipse box set, and recently I was going through the ones they have to see like which one interested me the most, and then I saw that they had one called it's the 32nd one. It's called Pearls of the Czech New Wave. So that's with that goes with what we were talking earlier, and I am gonna see, but I think I may get that one.
In terms of like Eclipse box set, like I went through and looked through all the Eclipse ones because I was really interested. I want to get obviously post-war Kurosawa. I want to get a Nikatsu Noir, which is like it seems like I think it's Hong Kong like old noir films, which I think is really cool. I want to get Mazuki Kobayashi Against the System. He directed like Human Condition, Harakiri.
Yeah.
So I just want to see. I haven't seen either of those yet, but I just want to. I'm interested in his films in his catalog.
Yeah, I'm so curious to watch The Human Condition, but it's so long. It sounds so good. Yeah.
I bought the old DVD release they had of it, where it's like the digipack, and I just kind of I bought it a while ago for pretty cheap, and I just kind of have it sitting over on my shelf, just waiting.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think of what are some other like good ones? Oh yeah, and I also wanted to mention I want to get the Up All Night with Robert Downey Sr. Set that they have, because it just sounds so fun.
Yeah.
Because I went and read like synopsis of all the movies, but I wanted to talk about a pickup I had recently from another boutique Blu-ray label, Arrow Video.
Uh-huh.
So
nice.
I have never bought an Arrow release until recently. When one caught my eye, it was the box set Solid Metal Nightmares, which is the work of Tsukamoto, and it is from what I could find online, it's a collection of like really weird Japanese like cult horror films. And I am so excited to get into it.
That seems so cool.
Yeah, I'm currently putting it off though, so I can finish all the Criterion pickups I have, because I have like almost half of my Blu-ray collection to watch.
Yeah.
In terms of like I have like obviously the like Before trilogy, the rest of the Bruce Lee box set, Mishima, Stalker, like 3 colors.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you gotta watch Mishima. It's really good.
Oh yeah, I'm almost wanting to save that though for when we talk about it. So I'll probably save Mishima and Patriotism for when we talk about those films.
Yeah. The only Criterion that I still haven't watched that I own is The Fisher King by Terry Gilliam. I'm gonna get to it at some point.
Oh yeah. Like I intend to watch the Before trilogy probably next week. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah. But
yeah,
I think I think it's funny how you're mentioning you've been watching a bunch of movies recently, because it's kind of been kind of been the opposite for me.
Mm-hmm.
But whenever it comes to movies, it's always a question of like phases. You know, I'm gonna have a month. You know, it's like I'm gonna have a month where I'm gonna watch 28 movies, and then I'm gonna have another month where I'm gonna watch 2 movies. You know.
I get that.
Yeah, and recently for a big part of the summer, I've been kind of like in a not watching a lot of movies phase, you know, and
Yeah, I get it.
I want to the one thing that I want to do is I want to really use my Criterion Channel subscription as much as possible. Because like especially recently they added so many films that I want to watch. Like there's a film that they added that I've been looking forward to watching for a long time, which is Heaven Can Wait, which is
Who
a
made
film.
that one?
It's what's his name? Ernst Lubitsch.
Ooh, yeah, I've heard that name.
It's actually it's a film that I discovered when I was watching like Criterion Collection pickup videos on YouTube, and it's one of those guys that mentioned this film, and he explained what the synopsis was, and just by that I thought, holy shit, I have to watch that. Which basically, from what I understand, it's a guy who it dies and is I think he's actually accidentally put in hell instead of being put in heaven. So like, oh, sorry sir, we're going to put you back in heaven, but he's like, no, I want to stay in hell. And basically the whole movie is him trying to explain why he should stay in hell.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he explained that, and I thought, that sounds amazing.
What was it called again?
Heaven Can Wait.
Heaven Can Wait. Okay.
Yep. It kind of reminds me of another film that I really want to see, but that unfortunately is not on the Criterion Channel, but it is on the Criterion Collection, which is A Matter of Life and Death by Powell and Pressburger, which is it's during World War II, where there's a soldier who miraculously survives a plane crash, and basically the reason for that is because heaven forgot him. They forgot to like take him, and so basically the film is him trying to like stay on Earth and not going to heaven, you know. And fun fact, it actually is Daniel Radcliffe's favorite film, I think.
Really?
Yeah, so why not? But it seems like a very, very good film.
That seems
so those
fun.
are 2 films
Yeah.
that I'm very excited to watch. They also added like a New York, like a bunch of films that are related to New York. So there's Do the Right Thing. There's
Perfect.
West Side Story. There's the Apartment by Billy Wilder, which seems really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a bunch of different films.
Have you seen Do the Right Thing?
I have not.
Ooh,
It's on my watch list.
I like that one a lot.
Yeah, in one of my classes, we watched like 5 minutes of it. It was the scene where like all the different ethnicities are trash talking about the other ones. You know, like the black are trash talking about the Koreans. Koreans are talking about the that kind of stuff. And I thought that was pretty funny and very well written, and it looks like a pretty good film.
It's a very, very well written film. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, like I'm looking in my on my watch list on the Criterion Channel. There's so much stuff. So much stuff that I want to watch. There's something that I discovered pretty recently that is that I'm very interested about. Is I don't know if you know about that. It's the Martin Scorsese's World Cinema Project.
Yes, I am interested.
Yeah.
I'm interested in that too.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, it's it's a collection of a bunch of films that Martin Scorsese put into the Criterion Collection that are foreign films that he thinks are really worth watching. So there's I'd say probably the most famous one in those films is A Brighter Summer Day by Edward Yang. There's also like a bunch of films from Africa, from Asia, from South America, from everywhere basically, and especially a lot of countries that you don't really most people don't really know that much about, like their cinema. Like there's a film from Senegal, there's a film from Cuba, there's a film from Turkey, from the Philippines, anywhere basically. And it's like, it sounds so interesting, and it's like, especially as someone who really wants to watch as many foreign films as possible and really want to grow like a I want to cultivate myself, and it's very it seems like the best place to start,
Yeah. No, I would love to pick one of those up and just kind of get into it.
Yeah, I think all the films are in the Criterion channel, so if anyone's interested in getting a subscription, I highly recommend it. It's very worth it with all you get.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh.
I was considering it, but I might do it sometime, like soon. I'm not too sure.
Yeah. It's there's another film that I need to mention that might interest you. It's a film called Being There, which is directed by Hal Ashby, so the guy who directed Harold and Maude. And I don't really know the story, but it seems very good. It seems a lot. I think it's more like dramatic than Harold and Maude. It's more focused. It's less focused on the comedy, but it seems really good.
I will add it to my watch list.
Yeah.
Which is at almost 600 movies, by the way.
Ooh.
Because I've been cultivating it since I think like maybe a year ago by now, because I had to have made it back in like September of 2020. Because I believe
the champagne.
Yeah, I believe I I talked about, because I made it just because everybody in my film school was just like, what, you haven't seen this movie? And I'm like, all right, fine.
Oh shit, hold on. You're at 596. All right, let's find you 4 films that you don't have in
your
watch
list.
4
Okay.
films. All right, let's do this.
All
4
right.
films. Hold on, I'm looking at my letterbox, but I feel like any film that I'm going to tell you, they're already going to be in your list.
I'll tell you if they are or not.
Yeah. Oh, do you have? Oh! I know what you have to put, and I'm sure that you don't have it. It's a documentary made by Agnes Varda called Faces Places.
I do not have that yet. I was intending to put all of Agnes's films in, because I enjoy her a lot. I
to watch. I want to watch all of her documentaries, because she's was the sweetest lady.
Oh, I love her. No, that's
my God.
like, I don't know, if I have some money to splurge during the November sale, I will splurge for the Varda box set.
Oh man, it's so pretty. It's so
pretty. I'm very. I've been eyeing it a lot recently. I might just do it. I don't know.
It's like,
right, so
especially Faces Play. Yeah.
So that's $5.97.
Yep. Fuck. Ooh. Never mind.
What?
No, it's it was like, all right. Oh, you know what? Never mind. It's a film that I haven't seen, but a film that I'm very curious to see. It's called Mala Noche, made by Gus Vincent.
Okay.
So the guy who directed Good Will Hunting and what's the film with Keanu Reeves and Joaquin Phoenix's brother? My Own Private Idaho, is that the film? Or
yes,
yep,
yes.
My Own Private Idaho.
That is. What was it called again?
Mala Noche.
Mala Noche. So I know I already have a couple of his films in the watch list, like My Own Private Idaho and like Elephant. But like,
I have to watch Elephant.
I'm trying to find it on Letterboxd. Hold up.
It's but yeah, so that's a film that we I had a class last year about nice. I had a class last year about like that just reminded me of other films that I could tell you. But yeah, so I had a class last year about Hollywood cinema, which was a great class. And so there were a couple of classes about independent cinema, and so there was one specifically about Gus Vincent, and this film seemed very. It's like a film about like the gay rights and that kind of stuff, but back in like the 80s, 70s, you know. But it seems pretty good. So there's hold on, let me just what was that? Oh yeah, all right. Damn, you got like the whole police department in your street.
Whole police department going crazy.
Yeah. All right. Ooh, you might have this one. I'm not sure. It's called Fireworks by Takeshi Kitano.
I do not have this.
All right. Well, so I'm guessing you've probably heard the name Takeshi Kitano.
Yeah, I'm sure I have. What has he made?
Yeah, it's well. So the thing is, he's much more than just a director. He's like a massive superstar in Japan. Like he started as a stand-up comedian, and then he became like a TV host and an actor. He's mostly known in the West. He's mostly known for being the teacher, well, the principal in Battle Royale.
Oh.
Yeah, and
that's fun.
Fireworks is one of the films that he's directed, and it's apparently really good.
I added that, and now we are at $5.99. One last one.
Last one. All right.
Last one.
Hold on. All right. This one seems like a very fun film, and I know that it's the film that it's one of those films that like it fits everything that like I know I'm gonna love it, you know. So I'm sure you would probably like it. It's the movie adaptation of Clue, like the board game with Tim Curry.
I have actually already seen that.
Well, never mind.
Yeah, sorry about that.
You probably have that one, but do you have Suspiria by Dario Argento?
Yep, got that one.
All right. All right, good. Oh yeah, all right. I got a good one. All
right.
That's another film that I had in my Hollywood cinema class last year, and it's a film that the teacher told us about, and then I completely forgot the name of the film, and I for like almost a year I've been thinking about like, oh, what is it? And well, this morning I had a class with this teacher that had the Hollywood cinema class, and so I asked him, hey, that was basically the story of the film. Do you know what that is? Oh, and he said, oh yeah, that is Splendor in the Grass. It's so basically it's a film from 1961. It's a romance film about a it's a romance about like high school students, but it's also a film that talks a lot about like heartbreaks and also mental health in a way that films didn't talk about that in 1961.
Okay.
And it's like the scene that he showed us was like she had not necessarily a panic attack, but almost something like that in her class, and she just like ran away from the class, and then it showed the scene after that that we saw too was her having like an argument with her parents, and it was very it's strangely relevant. Okay. And so I'm definitely gonna have to watch that, but it seems like very good film.
All right, we are at 600.
Hell yeah.
That was fun.
All right.
That was a fun little moment.
Yeah. That was a fun little challenge.
Yeah.
Because I have I personally really don't. I know I don't have as many films. Like, my watch list isn't representative of like what I actually want to watch. You know, like I have 316 films in my watch list, like actually on Letterboxd. But I know for a fact that like I actually have a lot of films that I want to watch that just aren't on my watch list.
Yeah. There's like a lot that I forget about. Like I've been wanting to watch like Promare forever. And only until I went to go see it the other night did I realize, I'm like, oh, I didn't even add that to my watch list. So like I retroactively put it in the watch list. Yeah. I was like, I've been wanting to watch that forever. I'll talk about it.
Now I'm just curious. Now what I want to do now is I want to check all the films that I have seen that you haven't on your watch list, and then I want to shame you for it.
Okay, go ahead.
but not necessarily shame you, obviously, but just
just have a bit of fun.
Is your list updated?
Yes. Go to not my watch list section.
Like, yeah, I know it's like a list that you made, like Alec's watch list full version, right?
Yeah, I just updated it with all those movies, so it should be at 601 because I just added Promare.
Okay, but there's Millennium Actress in it though.
Yeah, this is the version with stuff I've seen.
Oh.
So
I
keep a checklist to myself, but I guess just like shoot. Hang on. I wonder if there's any way to see like which ones your friends.
Because I saw like I was going through the films that I had seen and was like, wait, you haven't watched Seven Samurai? But I feel we talked about that.
Yeah, we definitely talked.
Yeah.
I guess just bring some up and I'll tell you whether or not I watched them yet.
Alright, that's just pretty funny. There's literally Punch Drunk Love in the list.
Yeah. That was one of like my early additions to the watch list.
Right. It's funny how I can definitely see there's a few films that I see that definitely like I'm definitely the one who told you to watch that, like Tampopo.
Yeah, Tampopo's in there.
Yeah, that's like one of the films that I really hope gets picked later, like when we choose next week's film.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, there's it's a big list.
Oh, it's massive.
Yeah.
I contemplated.
Yeah.
I contemplated stopping at 500, but I was like, no, I'll keep going.
Yeah. Why stop? Just make it even crazier.
Yeah, just go as far as I can go with it. Just see how much I can add. You seen any surprises yet?
Not really. Honestly,
Okay.
it's like all the stuff that you haven't seen is like, yeah, I get that. Like I know you mentioned that you hadn't seen any John Waters film.
Nope. Yeah, those are all on there.
Yeah. I'm gonna say for John Waters, my first film that I watched from him is Female Trouble. I'm not sure if it's the best one to start with, because it's very it's I don't know, it's something that's not it's not very easy to go through that in like through the entire thing in one shot, because it's very strange and very almost I don't want to say disturbing, but like I don't really know.
Just uncomfortable.
What? Yeah, I guess. But I remember like before I started the film, I didn't know that the main character was played by a drag queen. I thought it was just like a female actress, and then I saw Divine, like I started acting. I was like, oh my god, this guy is a genius.
Oh yeah.
It is so cool.
Yeah, I definitely want to get into some John Waters soon.
Yeah. Yeah, Mishima we mentioned. Yeah. Have you seen a film by Ingmar Bergman?
Not yet. No, I have.
Huh.
I'm pretty sure I have Seventh Seal on there.
You also have Persona.
Yes, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure. I'm pretty sure I also added like Autumn Sonata or something like that.
Probably.
Yeah.
But those are the two. Seventh Seal and Persona are the two that I have seen. I will say I personally prefer Persona, but Seventh Seal has an amazing third act. Like the
okay.
I'm not gonna say anything, but the end of the film is fucking great.
I'm honestly mainly waiting until I get the box set, which will be a while from now. But like,
Yeah. Oh man.
eventually I do want to get the Bergman box set and just blast through them.
How much is it? Because it's so big.
It's like, I think the base price is like 300, but whoever buys Criterion stuff at full price, so it would be 150 during the sale, which for a box set of that size, that's not bad.
Yeah, actually, it's pretty good.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. Same thing with the Verda box set, which is, I think, the same number of films.
It's like basically her entire filmography, and she had like a 60-year career, you know?
Yeah.
It's the Varda box set is $200. No, it's $250. So it's like 125, and you get like,
that's really good.
I think you get 30 films, so it's actually a really good deal.
That's incredible. Yeah, I gotta. Now I really want to pick it up during the sale.
I know I'm not going to be able to get it. I know I'm not going to be able to get it during the next sale, but I really want to get it at some point.
Yeah,
like,
so do I.
There's so many boxes that I want to get. I want to get the even though I've never seen one of his films, I really want to get the Jacques Demy box set. Because
eventually I'll get like all of those box sets, like Fellini and Demy, but like I'm mainly looking out for like.
Oh yeah, the Fellini one seems great.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to like the Bergman box set, obviously the Varda box set. I'm also really looking forward to the Lone Wolf and Cub box set, which is like 6 films. Oh, I also really want to get the Zatoichi box set. which is like,
oh yeah,
what was it? Something like 27 movies.
it's a lot.
All from one series.
I will say though, I have seen the first Zatoichi film. It's fine, but it's not like, especially considering that like my only experience with samurai film is Kurosawa. Compared to Kurosawa, it's like not that great, I'll say.
Right.
But I don't know how the other films hold up to that one. So maybe they're better, but I also want to get the Godzilla.
I completely
like,
forgot to mention that.
Yeah, it was
God,
Spine 1000.
Yeah, that'd be super cool.
Show era. It's a beautiful box set.
Yeah.
Also, the kind of box set that is impossible to store anywhere.
Yeah,
it's
I'd
very.
I'd probably do the same thing I did with my Wong Kar-wai box set, which I took all the discs out of the sleeves and I put them in separate cases and just put it on my shelf because I didn't want to keep them in the paper.
You're going to hell. Just so
I'm going to hell. I'm going to hell. Why am I going to hell?
I don't. Let's just say I don't approve.
You don't approve?
But sure, I do not approve.
I just wanted to keep I just wanted to keep them safe. I didn't trust them.
Get that.
I didn't trust them in that packaging, especially since when I opened it, 2046 almost fell on the damn ground.
All right. You know what? I get that. I still disagree though, but I get that.
All right, at least you understand.
Yeah. I understand your madness. Yeah. Yeah. Oh man. It's like there's so many films that I want to watch, but so little time.
Oh, same here.
It's like I really the amount of time that I told myself, oh, I'm gonna start watching one film a day for an entire year. I tried to do that this year, and I failed miserably. Like I'm curious, how long did it take me to fail?
I don't know. I don't know if I could ever do that because like I feel like I'd get burnt out on watching movies way too quick, and I don't want that to happen.
You know what? I actually lasted 15 days.
That's
actually I actually did better than I remembered.
Oh, you thought it was much less?
Yeah. Oh, actually, you know what? The January 8th wasn't even a film. It was a Doctor Who episode that I logged on Letterboxd anyway. I was like, yeah, sure.
Sure, whatever, it counts.
Yeah.
No, but I get it sometimes. Like, sometimes I come home and, like, I just am not in the mood at all.
Yeah.
I was able to muster up, like, the motivation to finish Evangelion in a weekend. But, like, after that, I was like, I'll watch a movie, like, in a couple days.
Right. Because, like, I really want to watch a movie tonight, but I don't know if I have the physical and mental energy to do that.
I don't know if I will.
Yeah. Like, you know, we're recording this on Friday night. I had my entire week behind me, and it's like I woke up at 6 a.m. this morning, and I have like 4.5 hours of sleep in my body, and I am probably gonna go to sleep not too long after we stop recording. I'm exhausted. I'll say that. It's like, because, you know, I just started school, which is like, oh, now that you're back in school, you have to wake up at 6 or 8 a.m. every day. Oh, sure. But just so you know, I'm also going to keep going to sleep at 2 a.m. because I'm a fucking idiot.
Oh my god, I do the same thing. Like, I probably should be waking up at like 6 in the morning because, like, now that I don't live on campus like I used to, I have to take the bus, and the buses in my area don't run like ones in the city where it's like, oh yeah, you know, it's like it'll be here like every 15-30 minutes like clockwork. No, my buses are literally just like get here at this time that says on the website, or you're not going. It's like, oh no.
Oh yeah.
So
it's
the
same thing here.
There have been many mornings where I've woken up like, oh no, the bus leaves in 15 minutes, and then I just like walk out the door.
Yeah.
It's not good.
It's so like, because like I have to take a bus from my house to the subway station, and then I have to take the subway for like 15 minutes to my school, and it's like, it's pretty annoying, and it's like it's like 45 minutes to an hour of traveling every day.
Yeah, it's about 50 minutes for me too. It's unfortunate,
Yeah.
especially it's unfortunate in my case because like driving my own car, I'm like 10 minutes away from campus, but taking a bus is like 40 minutes. It's ridiculous.
So why don't you drive?
Because parking passes are too expensive. It's downtown in a very big United States city. You don't think they're gonna make you pay for parking?
Yeah.
It's bad. But yeah, I mean, I'll probably do it next year because it'll just be a lot more convenient.
Yeah.
But still, whatever.
Yeah, it really is a pain in the ass. Especially when it's like, I'm always so tired in the morning, and I'm always like, I always have a tiny voice in my head that's like, oh, you can skip today, right? You can do that, right? And then I have the voice that's like, no, I can't. I have to go to school.
We had a day the other day. This was ridiculous. My teacher was like, he said in our syllabus, he was like, or our professor, he was like, we have these outside screening days on these certain days. So when you see that on the syllabus, don't come to class. And I was like, okay, just like watch the movie at home. That works. So we had one of those this past Wednesday. Like we had one of those things that said it on the syllabus. So I was like, okay, not going to class. Little do I find out that he held a lecture anyway. And like one of my I remember my friend texted us. My friend texted us. He was like, "Do you guys still want to go?" And I'm like, "I'm staying home. I'm not doing that."
Yeah, would have done the same thing.
I was just like, "That's ridiculous," but whatever. I still have to watch Snowpiercer this weekend, which is my required viewing for next Monday. But yeah.
Ooh. You're going to have some fun.
I hope so. Is it a good movie? It's my third favorite from Bong Joon-ho.
Okay, it's not his most... it's actually usually considered as one of his least good films with Okja as well. Mm-hmm. But I personally really like it. And I'm not entirely sure why. I just do. I know for a fact that Tilda Swinton's character helps a lot because Tilda Swinton is one of my favorite actresses, and this is, in my opinion, her best character in her entire career.
That's interesting. I'm really excited.
Yeah, it's really good.
All right.
Yeah.
So should we go ahead and select next week's film?
Absolutely.
All right.
So.
All right.
Let me pull up the randomizer. All right. All right. Randomize. And so, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
What?
The odds in this situation are crazy. Next week's film is Tampopo.
Let's go. Let's go.
Literally the film that I said I hope is gonna be the film next week. It is Tampopo.
Let's go.
Fuck yeah. Dude, I'm so excited to talk about this film. It's like one of the first films that I watched after getting my Criterion Channel subscription. It's one of my favorite Japanese films of all time. I'm excited. So good. make sure though when you watch the film, you either you either have some food with you or you have eaten not long before that, because you will get hungry otherwise.
Oh, it's one of those movies. Okay, I got you.
It's one of those. It's one of those movies.
The same
yourself.
thing happened. The same thing happened when I watched Jon Favreau's Chef. Was my friend was just like make sure you have food. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Which is a very good film, by the way. If you haven't seen Chef, it's very good.
I have not.
It's a good one. I like it a lot. Well, all right, Tampopo.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Let's go. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose if there's nothing else you wanted to add, I guess that is Movie Dudes for now.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you all for watching. It's been fun, and we'll see you next week for Tampopo. All righty. Bye bye.